scores, predictions. Sportz Blitz Live with your host, Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson, and Randy Lee. Call 800-782-0108. Auburn.
45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going running all the way back.
Alabama.
38 pounds and 80 yards.
And the latest in high school sports.
Yes, he is. Touchdown.
It's Sportz Blitz Live now. Brought to you by S&S Discount Tire and JR's Sports Bar and Grill.
Welcome into Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. I'm Randy Lee. I'll be joined shortly by Luke Robinson, and we've got plenty to talk about this evening. We'll start with high school athletics as we do each and every week here on this program. We feel like that's kind of what separates us from the rest of the mainstream media, as we do concentrate highly on high school athletics with our tie with AHSA Radio Network here in the state of Alabama. And we were over in Montgomery this past week and past weekend on Friday and Saturday doing the Champions Challenge. Saw some premier athletes here in the state of Alabama, and we'll pass those scores along to you, along with many more high school scores from this past week. And then we'll jump into college athletics, Auburn and Alabama specifically. Luke Robinson on the Alabama side, myself on the Auburn, and we're getting close, so it's becoming fun, not only between those of us that do this on a daily basis, but social media gets fun this time of year. A lot of jokes going back and forth, and hopefully we'll be able to talk a little bit about that. We'll take your phone calls at 256-234-6464 or 800-782-0108 whenever we come back from this first break. Make sure to tune us in. Find us on Twitter. That's a great place to send us a question. We always have great prizes, trivias, things throughout the year that we give away through our Twitter outlet. So Sportz Blitz is the best place to find us, Sportz Blitz, and that's sports with a Z, so find us there on Twitter. More of the Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
The opening segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin, the region's best mortgage professionals and rates for all new or refinancing mortgage services. Come to the right place. Home Place Mortgage of Auburn and Lake Martin. Visit homeplacemtg.com. Advanced Heating and Air is East Central Alabama's certified train comfort specialist. That means the pros at Advanced make you the focus with superior service on all brands, 24-hour availability, and in most cases, same-day response. Advanced Heating and Air is exclusive with Train Heating and Air products that deliver the longest reliability and great energy efficiency with an amazing 0% 60-month financing package on all new Train products. The best service contacts in the region, and all pricing is upfront so you have no surprises. Advanced Heating and Air, where your comfort is our #1 concern.
The moving is over, and we're ready to celebrate. Don't miss the Sure Shots grand opening in our new location at 3862 Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. 2 days only, Friday, August 28th and Saturday, August 29th. Save on guns, bows, apparel, and much, much more. Plus, win free prizes and register to win one of 4 free guns to be given away Saturday at 3 p.m. You'll also have a chance to view 2 rare Smith & Wesson Model 40s. The Sure Shot, Lake Martin's Sportsman's headquarters.
No matter where your day takes you, a water heater from Blossman means a reliable hot shower when you need it.
Here's the deal. Standard tank propane water heaters for only $99. Free installation.
Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Their motto is simple: we're only as good as our last service. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430. And visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control, when the problem has to stop. Guaranteed.
Over the years, S&S Tire's grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Ready to put some fun in your life? Whether it's Central or East Alabama, North Alabama, West Georgia, or wherever you're from, Fun Carts of Opelika is your authorized easy-go kart dealer that has no limits on a perfect easy-go kart. Whether it's a fully customized kart or a stock-made kart, we'll deliver it on time and at the best price. Fun Carts gives you the service after the sale, so no matter if it's hunting, tailgating, motorhoming, fleet rental, or just a better way to get around, Fun Carts of Opelika has it and will customize it to your needs. Visit us in Opelika or call us or visit online for the best easy-go carts. Put a little fun in your life with Fun Carts of Opelika.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Bice Motors in Alexander City. Brian and his crew offer the latest lines of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram vehicles, as well as the best used inventory around. Guaranteed lowest price. Bice.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. We'll take your phone calls, 800-782-0108 or 256-234-6464. Luke Robinson now with me. And Luke, you were over at Crampton Bowl Friday night.
Yep.
You had what I would consider the top game in the state of Alabama this week. We had some big games out of state that we'll talk about a little bit later, but your thoughts about Leeds and Madison Academy and the players they brought?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I'm always so excited to see a game like this. Not only is it 2 fantastic teams, but littered with talent on both sides. You have Malik Miller, who's committed to Auburn. You had Austin Troxell, a kid who is going to be one of the top 100 juniors in the state of Alabama. And going to have, for Leeds, to Daryl Marshall. Who else did they have? They had
Trey Nation. Yeah.
The running back. I mean, so they had just talent everywhere.
Yeah, and 800-782-0108, and hopefully we can get you straightened out. You got to hold it down for a extended period of time.
Well, let's try that
back
again.
And say it again.
Let's go try it again. Trey
some,
Nation, running back for Leeds. To Daryl Marshall, quarterback for Leeds. Malik Miller is committed to Auburn for Madison Academy, and Austin Troxell, one of the top 100 juniors in the country for Madison Academy. Now, my thoughts on these guys. First of all, Malik Miller and Trey Nation, I thought they were virtually the same back. Trey Nation may actually be a little better in some aspects, but I think Malik Miller, because his pass catching ability and his ability to pass block are probably the things that may separate him. I think both of them are high 3-star guys. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them ended up in Crampton Bowl to play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Trey Nation, weirdly enough, may be headed to Louisville to play, and Auburn, of course, is going to get Malik Miller, and those two teams play in the opening game in the Georgia Dome. I thought Malik Miller showed some nice hands on one catch for about 26 yards on a big second down and long. Trey Nation, though, showed a little more burst, but neither one of them had the top-end speed you really want to see out of an elite back. But I think either one of them is certainly worth a scholarship, no doubt. Austin Troxell from Madison Academy, I thought he looked very strong. If he lined up on the left, it seemed like they ran to the left. If he lined up on the right, you could almost bank they were going to the right. The thing about Madison Academy that separated these two teams was their quarterback play. And I'm going to get to the Daryl Marshall in a second. But the Grayson Edgman was a quarterback that comes in. He takes over for Blake Coward, who last year led Madison Academy to their 3rd straight state championship. Of course, he's probably just as famous for dating Sadie Robertson of Duck Dynasty fame. But they lose him this year. They get this new guy in. I'm talking to some of their announcers, their radio guys before the game. I said, tell me about your quarterback. And they said, well, we might even bring 2 guys in. This one guy we've got, he really had a growth spurt over the summer. He's only going to be a junior this year, and he just shot up. He looked phenomenal, Randy. I'll tell you.
What's his size? He's
about 6'3", 6'4".
Wow.
He looked about 200 pounds. Nice zip on the ball. When they needed a play and they needed it through the air, It was he made the play. And it wasn't just I would have thought there would have been a lot more screens to Malik Miller. I so erroneously and stupidly apparently called for a lot of screens in the game. Nobody ever ran one. I thought that would just be perfect because Malik Miller and Trey Nation, it seemed like they'd be a good move. Neither quarterback went that route, and I'll get to Leeds in a second, like I said, but going back to Madison Academy, that tells me that they put confidence in this kid. And even though the game counted, they let it be known from the outset that they were going to put the ball game in his hands. Now, Malik Miller got his touches, and he got his yards. He got about 145 yards plus or minus with those 26 receiving yards. But without that quarterback, Madison Academy doesn't win that game.
It was direct opposite of what we saw last year.
Yep.
Leeds really took it to them late in the ball game. Madison Academy couldn't stop them. Ends up Madison Academy goes on 14-game win streak, wins state championship. Leeds loses a game to Dayville here in the Tallapoosa County region midway through the season this past year, but they go 14-1, win a state title. Luke, you're probably going to see both of them in state championships again this year, aren't you?
Totally agree. And Bo from Leeds, who calls in all the time, I hope he calls in to talk about this game. I hope he got to either see it or go to the game because I want him to talk about Tadero Marshall. Here's the thing. Tadero Marshall is a fabulous player, and he comes from a fabulous family. I was very fortunate to get down there early. I got to meet his dad just by total accident. One of the nicest guys, and I think his brother that was there too. Just a great family. Tadero Marshall just didn't have his best game. I don't know another way to say it. He just wasn't on his game that night. And I'll tell you what my theory on this is, that Madison Academy took the opening kickoff, and they got about a 10-minute drive. And it took the air out of the Leeds sidelines, and it was visible. They didn't score. They went 10 minutes in high school.
Wow.
And never scored. I mean, they would get a first down, then get a penalty, then it'd be 3rd and 4, and they'd get the first down by just a little bit. I mean, they just methodically moved down the field, and Leeds couldn't get off the field. And I think it took all the air out of the Leeds offense because they got out there, and the first play was Trey Nation for 19 yards. From that point forward, it seemed like they couldn't get anything going. Now, Nation ended up with 211 yards. He looked a lot better than I thought. I thought it was going to be the Tadero Marshall show with some Trey Nation mixed in, and it was really the other way around. And the thing that separated those two players on an attack standpoint was that when Trey Nation gets the ball, he's going to the hole. Now, if somebody's there, they might box him in, and you might be able to. But when he hits that hole, if there's a crease, he's going to go for a distance. You know, he's going to go for. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's going to make some positive yards. The other side of this was Tadero Marshall. He would see a hole, and then he would try and bounce it outside. And what I don't think he accounted for was Madison Academy kids.
Yeah.
They may not look the fastest. They weren't the biggest. I mean, you know, typical kind of private school. They were fast. He could not run them to the corner.
Well, probably had good scheme, and they contain well from the outside, and you see that. So a couple of things. When you look at Malik Miller, you look at Trey Nation, these guys could play tailback, but they look like Cameron Petway a bit from Prattville, who will end up getting the H-back nod along with Chandler Cox there at Auburn this year. He was a 230-pound high school guy. Mm-hmm. You got to see him a good bit. We both got to see Cameron Petway in an all-star event. Did you get that feel from Trey Nation Friday night a little bit?
I did. I think if he were to go to Louisville, he could be a little bit more of a feature back. I do. Gotcha. I believe if he were to go to Auburn or Alabama, he's going to be more of that role, the H-back type. But if he went to Louisville, I think he would have a shot, and that's where I think he's going to end up.
You know, I met Malik Miller this past week, and I wanted to say that, and we've been lucky enough over the years to be able to go to a lot of these events and meet the kids and know what kind of kids and what kind of parents they got. Malik was outstanding. Justin and I went up to him, couldn't be nicer, well-spoken, had a smile on his face walking around. So that's a good get for Auburn on that respect. And I was able to, on Saturday, probably see the 2 top linebackers in the state and the 2 top recruits in the state of Alabama. More than likely, as an Auburn guy sitting over here, they're going to end up at Alabama, and there's going to be great gets. First off, Ben Davis. Gordo took on Glencoe. Gordo wins the football game. It was close at the end. Glencoe put together some good drives. Lee Osmond is the coach. If you remember, he was a standout at Alabama. I can still visibly see number 42 playing at Alabama.
Hey, let me have a request. Yeah. Justin in the back, he'll be able to find this on YouTube. See if you can find Lee Osmond's return of a attempted 2-point conversion in Baton Rouge and we might be able to end the show with it if we end the show at 8:15. It took Lee Osment an hour and 52 minutes to get from one goal line to the other. And as an Alabama fan, I think he gets ribbed about it enough, so I don't have any problem ribbing him about it. But he could probably still outrun me. But
his son last year was their top player. He was a big running back, 2,300 yards. He's gone, a senior. His son this year played safety, 2-time All-State performer. Every time the ball was in his hands, he was making plays. So there's something about pedigree. So if you're looking for another good player to come through the pipeline, you need the Osmonts to keep producing there.
No doubt.
Linco. But Gordo, on the other hand, Ben Davis, we met him at Media Days, and Luke, I looked over and said, God, who was that? And I didn't have to ask twice because I was expecting to see Ben Davis, but he's listed at 6'4", 236 pounds. They got him listed in the program as a wide receiver. He's a middle linebacker type. But Luke, he caught a touchdown pass. The most impressive thing he did this past Saturday afternoon was catch a touchdown pass.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't the way that he caught it and his size, and you think he'd overwhelm 3A talent. Both of these teams had plenty of talent, so it wasn't, you didn't feel sorry for Glencoe, let's put it that way. It was his footwork. And when he caught the ball on the sideline, I looked at Brett, and he wears number 1. I said, who does he look like to you? He said, he looks like Duke Williams. Duke Williams just looks bigger than everybody when he's out on the field. I don't know what he's listed, Luke, but maybe that's a good thing. But that was from the viewpoint I was in, I'm like, this guy's a tremendous athlete. Got all the size. I think Rivals came out this week, and he was the number 6 overall recruit in the country. Yeah,
the state of Alabama absolutely loaded this year. You look, Ben Davis ranked number 6 player in the country. Then Marlon Davidson, he's down in Greenville now. He was at Carver. He's number 8 player. And his former teammate at Carver, Lindell Mack Wilson, who you also got to see, is number 9 in the country. I mean, the state of Alabama just absolutely loaded to the gills. But we could go on this whole list. I'll tell you, the Rivals 250 was updated. And we can talk about some Alabama guys some more, but I was thinking about this list some. Shea Patterson, number 1 quarterback in the country. He's committed to Ole Miss. Rashawn Gary out of New Jersey. Oh, we got the Lee Osment return. We're late breaking news, and it's going to be late. Is watching Lee Osment return this 2-point conversion, and this was in 1989.
I know what it is. Is it 89 or 88?
It was 89, and here we go. And get your sundials out so you can time this 40. And here it is. We're still not over, folks. If you're on the radio, I know this is exhilarating radio. He's still not there, folks. Still not there, and finally we cross it. But he was so happy to have crossed that goal line because you can tell.
How many years did he start at Alabama?
Oh, a lot. He was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Lee Osment was incredible as a player. Loved him.
The reason I say 88 is Tommy Hodson's at quarterback, and if there's ever a quarterback that makes an Auburn fan want to throw up directly on this table, it's Tommy Hodson down there in LSU with the earthquake game.
That's right.
Against
that was
Auburn.
88, yeah.
Boy, that was probably Auburn's chance. Probably their best chance there in the 80s.
To win a championship in the 80s especially, but going back to this list, Shea Patterson committed to Ole Miss. Rashawn Gary looking at Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and Auburn along with Michigan. Dexter Lawrence, a kid out of North Carolina, he's got Alabama very high on his list. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he committed to Alabama. Greg Little was committed to A&M. He may commit to Alabama or Ole Miss. Then you go to number 6, Ben Davis, who's going to end up probably at Alabama. Demetrius Robertson, number 7, he's going to probably end up at Georgia, was committed to Alabama. Marlon Davidson going to probably go to Auburn. Lindell Wilson go to Alabama. Jacob Eason going to Georgia. Nate Craig Myers was committed to Auburn. He'll probably go to Florida now is what it's looking like. I mean, what I'm saying is out of the top 11 kids in the country, 10 of them will probably end up in the SEC. So, again, when you hear all this talk about the Big Ten is catching up or the Pac-12 is blah, 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 this is why the SEC is better, and this is why we beat each other up.
Say this, though, for those that don't know. Ben Davis going to end up at Alabama because...
I think. But his dad was Wayne Davis, played at Alabama.
Okay. I know a lot of people didn't know that, but trust me, it was talked quite a bit about there at Media Days.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those things where if you're Ben Davis, yeah, that's probably where you're going, and I don't mean to speak for the kid. I've never spoken to him about it, but it would be a shock if he went anywhere else. But you want him to be able to enjoy the recruiting process. So go out and take every one of your visits and then just commit to Alabama.
Lindell Wilson, as Luke mentioned, saw him Saturday. For whatever reason, he didn't play the first half. He played all the special teams. He was the deep snapper, even in the first half.
Wow.
But he didn't end up out on the field until the second half. Don't know if it was disciplinary, don't have a clue, don't want to speculate. some kids, they walk out on the field and you go, I want him and I want him. And that's what you saw Saturday. Lindell Wilson's listed 6'3", 227 pounds, runs well, got a high motor. I would say if the difference between I see he and Ben Davis, Wilson seems like he's got a higher motor. Ben Davis looks like he's already physically so ready to go to the college game and play. If he was in 3A ball, I don't know if you're always on the up. You brought that up. I mean, in 3A ball, when you look around the field and you say, boy, I'm the most talented guy out here, and no question. If you go 7A, I don't care how talented you are, 6A here in the state of Alabama.
Somebody get you.
You're gonna get had. So that's what we saw this past weekend. Benjamin Russell here in our local region picked up a victory over BC Rain. Other games outside of this region that were huge. Auburn goes on the road, beats Gadsden City in double overtime, 45-38. It's a great victory there. Opelika goes on the road as they take on Hillcrest Tuscaloosa. Give up some or have something like 30 penalties thrown on them in the game, but still win a game against a team in 6A that went to the third round this past year in Hillcrest Tuscaloosa. So everybody looks on the up and up. But I want to close this segment talking about two other teams that are at the top of this state. And, Luke, they may be at the top of the country, and that's Hoover and Clay Chalkwell.
Clay looked ridiculously good.
Yeah, and Hoover defensively did what Hoover always does defensively, didn't they?
Yeah, and they've got a kid this year, Jeremiah Moon, committed to Florida.
He's super.
I like him, and Alabama and Auburn just apparently weren't as sold on him as Florida was, and I think Jim McElwain has come into this state and gotten a really, really good player. But I'm going to go to Clay Chalkwell just for a second. They got a kid, T.J. Simmons, committed to Alabama. He ended up with 2 pretty long touchdowns, medium range, and he looked really very good. But, man, that Ty Pigram, what are you going to do with that squad in 6A? I mean, what are you going to do with them? Tell me who can beat them.
Look, put them up against Hoover. Because
I'm with you.
The team that's going to beat Hoover is going to have to score with them.
Right.
And in this state, it's not the offense that separates Hoover from everybody. It's how well disciplined they are defensively. Jason Caldwell mentioned, you bring up Jeremiah Moon. Last year, we were doing the state championship game there in 7A as Hoover took on Prattville. We said, Jason, who do I need to watch? First player he said out of his mouth, Jeremiah Moon. And I said, for real? You look at his stat line, he's 6'4", I think, 205 pounds. You see him walk out on the field, and he's lean and thin, but he's physical, super physical.
He reminds me of Carlos Dansby a little bit.
That's why, likes to mix it up. Carlos Dansby moved from a secondary player, a receiver, from Woodlawn. Auburn gets him in. He's still thin when he first gets the start for Auburn, but he likes to mix it up. And it's hard to teach that, Luke.
Yeah, that's right. It is very difficult to teach. And last year, you remember, he told us to watch Jeremiah Moon, and they had Christian Bell and Darrell Williams, guys that went to Alabama and Auburn respectively. So he's telling us to look for a guy that ain't going to either one of them.
And did Jeremiah Moon turn your head probably as much, if not more than those two, to me in that game?
Again, I have followed recruiting since probably 1991. And there is a science to it that I don't understand, because last year, December in that game, I probably would have left that saying, okay, Jeremiah Moon's probably going to be the number 1, number 2 player in the state. And he's not in the probably in the top 12, top 15, according to some rankings. Now, some things happen over the summers where kids grow and go to camps. But I'm going to tell you, I would have a hard time ranking 10, 11 guys over Jeremiah Moon.
I would too. So Florida's getting a good one, and maybe we're losing out, but as Luke runs down that list, it looks like we're losing out on some of the top players in the country. So the rich keep getting richer.
Yeah.
Auburn, Alabama, luckily we're 2 of the rich right now, and let's hope it keeps that way. Go ahead and take a break. We'll take your phone calls, 800-782-0108. We're going to have JJ. Jay Jeffcoat will be on with us, I think, in the upcoming segment. And Jay will talk about the AHSA Radio Network Scoreboard Show, which will start this Friday night. Go to our website, ahsaradionetwork.com. Hubbed right here in Alexander City on Kowaliga Country 97.5. Can't thank John Kennedy and JJ enough for all that they do to try to enhance what we're doing on the scoreboard show. I'll step aside, let Luke and JJ give all of you an update on the affiliates that we'll have out there, but it will be a very comprehensive scoreboard show up till 12 o'clock this year, and we got some great sponsors on there as well that they'd like to thank. More of the Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
Straight talk from Hyundai of Auburn.
What are these?
The Hyundai Deluxe features that come standard, they're not add-ons like some other brands. Be careful. Some dealers advertise low base prices when what matters is the price equipped like you want it. So compare equipped, not stripped. You'll discover the full Hyundai value advantage. These are just the advantages of Sonata. Impressive, aren't they? Do your own research. Explore today in person or visit HyundaiofAuburn.com. You owe it to yourself.
In a world that's ever changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Wow, your carpets look fantastic.
Yeah, thanks to Peaches and Clean.
They look new again.
They also clean my kitchen tile.
Simply amazing. I'm calling Peaches and Clean today.
Just call 502-5326. Oh yeah, they have an area rug cleaning facility too.
Peaches and Clean is now expanded to the Alexander City Lake Martin Market. Give them a call at 334-502-5326.
Call us up at Peaches and Clean.
Man, that house salad looks good.
Dude, it's so good.
How about one bite for the road?
No.
Sharing is caring.
No. You can't have any of my salad, bro.
Wait, I got it right here.
I got $20 in a dream, yeah.
Well, that's a hit right there, dude.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude.
The House Salad. Grilled chicken atop mixed greens, cucumbers, Roma tomatoes, cheddar and jack cheeses, and fried onions. Served with Texas toast. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
What's the #1 pontoon in the world for look and performance? It's Manitou. With V-Tune technology that delivers more speed and dominates handling, all with the comfort, style, and luxury that tops the pontoon industry. Lakeside Marina on Lake Martin is the #1 Manitou pontoon dealer in the state of Alabama, with superior pricing and service after the sale. Get invoice pricing on remaining 14s and see the 15 models in stock. And Lakeside is your Kawasaki personal watercraft dealer with a huge selection. Make sure to see our new used super center up the road and find out why Lakeside Marina is #1 for a reason. For over 30 years, Tallapoosa Ford has been your family-owned auto dealer for hot trucks and SUVs. Now they're raising the bar even higher. The Ford F-150 has been the best-selling truck in America for the last 38 years. And the hot new 15s are hitting the scene, and Tallapoosa Ford and Ford trucks are #1 for a reason. America's best truck, combined with our award-winning service department for the region's best warranty work and great maintenance and service.
Hello, this is Jeff with Tallapoosa Ford. Ford trucks have led America's truck sales. Come by today and get your best deal on America's best truck. We don't want all the business, just the opportunity to earn yours.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live. Luke Robinson here solo for the moment because I'm going to welcome in my good friend Jay Jeffcoat, who will be on with me for the AHSA Scoreboard Show, which will be a statewide show starting this Friday night. It'll go all the way to midnight. We're going to have all the scores. We're going to have tons of guests. JJ, I'm looking forward to it. How you doing, man?
Well, you know, it's hard to believe this will be our 3rd season together on this show, Luke. So going into year 3, yes, it's going to be a lot of fun, no question about it.
Really excited. This show has grown so much in popularity, and we have so much fun every week. And it's one of those things where we were talking off air like, oh, my gosh, are we going to be ready to go to midnight? Because we had been shutting up shop at about 11:30, but there have been plenty of times where we needed to go to midnight with this thing because some of these scores don't come in until pretty late, and we could sit around and talk about this all night long, couldn't we?
Well, it's that, and you know, you get people who are leaving games who maybe they pick up the show and they're on the road traveling to or from a stadium to back home, and so they pick us up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and they want to hear the scores that we've already given to. So it just gives us more opportunities to talk about the games that have happened, more opportunities to go through the scores, and you know, and really keep people up to date on those scores around the state, because here's the thing, everybody's got their team that they follow and they care about that score, but you've got teams in your region, you've got teams where family members live, you've got teams that you want to know what they did. Sometimes it's a rival or something like that, and so this gives us an opportunity just to be on a little longer and reach more people and give more scores and more updates, and, to have some fun there for an extra 30 minutes.
What are your thoughts on the main storylines heading into this season, 2015?
I think the storylines that we always kind of start where we left off. So we go back and we look at last year's Super 7 and we go, okay, out of those Super 7 guys from last year, who do we expect to see back? And we kind of start with that, and then you always try to look for a team that maybe was on the cusp of doing something the previous year. And then here's one, and I can tell you one, and this really affects one of our affiliates. We had a very large affiliate, WNGL in Mobile, Alabama, that is the flagship station for the McGill-Tulane team. And McGill-Tulane had a really disrupted season last year. They lost their coach right before the season, started out the season on a losing streak, and McGill-Tulane's going to have athletes. So I'm looking to see, how does McGill-Tulane bounce back this year? Do they kind of find their way back into that powerhouse role this year? That'll be one to watch down in the Mobile area.
I don't think there's any doubt. The Mobile area always has so much incredible football talent and some fantastic teams. And then to end this thing, you and I usually get to call the 1A and 2A state championship games, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we had a chance last Friday to go to Montgomery for the Champions Challenge, and really called two outstanding teams, Leeds and Madison Academy. Two champions there, two teams will be championship contenders, if not favorites, again this year in their respective classifications. So you get a chance to go watch great players and great teams, and I was thinking a lot about that game ever since we called the game on Friday. Madison Academy being the smaller school of the two, they're 3A to Leeds 4A, but when you always know Madison Academy has talent, but it's more than that, Luke. I mean, for a first game of the year, they had some penalties in that first quarter, but they cleaned that up, and I mean, they're a team that no matter who they're playing, whether it's 4A, 5A, 7A, 2A, whatever, they force you to play their game. They dictate tempo, they dictate the game, and they're just extremely well coached. And it's fun to watch teams like that. If there's one here in our local area in Central Alabama that I'm curious to see this year, and I know you probably are too, I'm curious to see what Reeltown does this year. Coach Jackie O'Neill retired last year, and then they had some trouble coming up with a new coach, so he didn't completely unretire, but is coming back to coach the football team. So, and a lot of people think Reeltown has the goods to go a long way this year. So that's one to watch here in Central Alabama.
It certainly is, and I'm really excited about this. Can you tell us anything about the show coming up this Friday? I know you do a great job of lining up the guests. Have you got anybody on tap yet?
Well, we do. The Prattville Lions, as unbelievable as it sounds, and this is incredible to me when you think about it, but the Prattville Lions have never had an every Friday night flagship radio station to carry their games before. But this year they did. They did a deal with WDXX and our buddy Mike Reynolds, who doesn't normally call the Prattville games, but he is going to call the one this Friday because their normal play-by-play guy is going to be out. His wife's having a baby. So Mike's going to call the game. He's going to join us afterwards. And Prattville, will actually be on the radio in the Montgomery area for people to listen to for the first time in a long time. So that'll be a fun one. We'll talk about that. Of course, we'll have Ron Ingram on this Friday night, communications director for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, and he can talk with us about different rule changes, any format changes, things that we need to know going forward, into another year of 7 classification football.
Well, Jeremy, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Luke. We'll talk to you Friday.
All right, buddy. That was JJ. J. Jeffcoat, Jeremy, call him a lot of different names, but you just put a J in front of something and it'll work. JJ, we'll see you then. We'll be back in just a minute with more from Sportz Blitz Live.
2015 is a new year, and the rules for FHA loans have changed.
If you currently have an FHA loan, call Home Place Mortgage today.
Right now, we can refinance your current FHA mortgage without an appraisal.
Your interest rate will reduce, and so will your monthly mortgage insurance.
Call us today to start saving in 2015.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
Don't let pests take your house or business over. Wave the red flag. Red Flag Pest, owned and operated by Scott Davis on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, is licensed, insured, and bonded, and serves the Lake Martin area, specializing in lake homes, residential property, and industrial property. Their motto is simple: we're only as good as our last service. Call for a free inspection today, 256-825-0430. And visit us online at redflagpestcontrol.com. Red Flag Pest Control. When the problem has to stop. Guaranteed.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's a great time to buy a new car at McKelvey Chevrolet. Come by and check out the huge selection of new trucks and cars at McKelvey's new location on Highway 280 in Dadeville. We have an awesome new lot filled with new trucks, cars, and SUVs. Are you in the market for a new Silverado truck? The selection is huge, and so are the savings. Buyer rebates and incentives will make buying your new vehicle easier and more affordable than you think. Come on out, see the new friendly staff at the all-new McKelvey Chevrolet on Highway 280 in Dadeville. Your Lake Martin area Chevrolet dealer since 1956.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store. Say, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Well, Box, I've been at the job site measuring for some new windows and doors.
Oh, you mean the website?
No, I mean the job site where the house is actually under construction.
Oh, we could never actually leave the store and go to a job site.
That makes you a little short on service, doesn't it?
Service, free delivery, and price match guarantee. 9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Dark Insurance, offering insurance for all your personal needs, including auto, boat, homeowners, and disability. Don't be in the dark. Call Dark Insurance at 256-234-5026.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. I'm looking forward to Friday.
Oh, yeah.
With the scoreboard show starting up. Again, find all of our affiliates through AHSARadionetwork.com. There'll be a list there. There's around 20 radio stations here in the state taking it.
In that neighborhood, plus or minus?
Sounds about right. So, again, thanks to Lake Broadcasting for all the work that they put in to get this thing throughout the state of Alabama. Each and every week we name our Players of the Week. If you want to nominate a kid that you've been out there and watched, or if it's your kid, or if it's players from your school that are really doing some special things, make sure to send us a tweet. Find us on our other social media outlets as well if you're looking to do that. Luke, I'll let you start with our Auburn, Opelika area, as well, I guess we call it our Lee County Player of the Week and the HSA Radio Network Player of the Week.
The Lee County Player of the Week, the LMG Baker Lee County Player of the Week, is Bradley Northcutt of Auburn. He rushed 27 times for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns and passed for another 117 and a TD in the Tigers' 45-38 Class 7A win over Gaston City. What an amazing game.
Bradley Northcutt, he's a tremendous athlete. He's a 3-year starter, I believe, at quarterback for Auburn since Looper left. Looper was a quarterback for 3 years also. Northcutt's been in, took them to a state championship game 2 years ago where he was the quarterback. So Auburn, that looks strong. New coach in there at Auburn, so congratulations. AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week.
The AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, brought to you by Russell Building Supply and Russell Do-It Center, is Trey Nation of Leeds. He gained 211 yards on 24 carries with 2 touchdowns in a 19-14 season-opening loss to Madison Academy in the 10th Annual Champions Challenge Classic at Crampton Bowl. This pitted the two defending state champs from 3A and 4A, and Madison Academy came on top, and that's the game we talked about a little bit earlier. Trey Nation, I think he's going to go somewhere. And if you just look at that picture of him right there, you can see, I mean, he's a little bit bigger guy. I mean, I talked about the lack of top-end speed. Well, guys like that generally don't have it. I mean, Jerome Bettis, maybe the exception to the rule, he had a little bit of speed to him. But you see a guy like that coming at you, you ain't going to get in his way. But I'll tell you this, the thing that impressed me the most about Malik Miller and Trey Nation was their quick feet. Both of them had incredibly quick feet.
And both big bodies, 225, 230-pound guys. Let's go into the Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. Cole Grogan from Benjamin Russell this week, averaged 50.7 yards per punt against BC Rain on Friday night. Yes, it could have easily been Tyree Gray as he had 160-plus yards, but after you've been watching Benjamin Russell the past couple of years, you got to go ahead and give somebody else an opportunity the way that Tyree's been playing. So I think he'll have a lot of opportunities moving forward. Our Sportz Blitz Montgomery Area Player of the Week, brought to you by Kenneth Ingram Jr., personal injury attorney. Slade Price, Carver Montgomery's quarterback. He was 18 of 25 for 338 yards and 2 touchdowns in his debut of the Carver Wolverines as they fell to Bob Jones in the Champions Challenge. Did have a couple of interceptions there in that football game, but it was fun to watch. And, you know, a little side note story that several of the Montgomery media outlets had jumped on. This is the first white quarterback for Carver High School in 50 years, Luke.
Wow.
50 years, and I think he's the only white player on the team that I saw. And just to watch the way that the coaching staff and the players kind of fed off of him. You know, you can look out there and tell people they like, that get along with you. There's teammates that you don't like, and that's obvious. Then there's players that you do like, and Slade Price. So I must say, opposite. Sometimes we hear about that with all white schools. It's got a great running back or a great quarterback for them. But very seldom do you see it this way, Luke.
No, and you know what? I think it's great. I do. I think it's wonderful to break barriers however you break them, and he's apparently doing that. And man, he put up some fantastic stats.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464.
And he's got some weapons to throw to.
He's got tons of weapons. Their receiving core, they had one receiver. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. But he's about 6'5", 210, 215. He had about 165 yards receiving. Just long basketball types out there at receiver. And they're going to be a fun team and a tough team to compete with there in 6A, especially defensively when you look at Lindell Wilson and all that they bring back on that side of the ball. Again, he didn't play the first half. And in the second half, all of a sudden Bob Jones slows down a little bit, and he's making several plays. So that had, I think, something to do, not all to do with it, because Bob Jones is a really good football team with a running back named Miles Strickland. Right.
What year?
He's a senior, currently committed to Samford, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And buddy, he's dynamic, about 185, 190 pounds. He is really, really good. Let's go ahead and take another break here on Sports Blitz Live. When we come back, we're going to move into Auburn and Alabama and take your phone calls. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a 4-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you, central to your success.
Big trucks control our highways with little to no regard for the rest of us. The U.S. Department of Transportation estimates that over 500,000 wrecks occur each year involving big trucks. If you or a loved one have been hit and injured by a big truck, then don't wait any longer. Call me today. I'll stand up to these big truck companies and I will fight for you.
What are you waiting for? Call Kenneth Ingram Jr. now.
The countdown is over and boating season is here, so now is the time to really know what the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South are ready for prime time with an all-time high selection of 2015 Landau pontoon. Landau pontoons offer the industry's most stylish and comfortable rear split loungers and unsurpassed tri-tune performance. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South, the pros the locals know, and Alabama's #1 Landau pontoon dealer.
JR Sports Bar and Grill. Mondays, all you can eat fingers, $13.25. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all you can eat wings, $12.25. Every day, kids in uniforms eat for $1.99. Alabama Street in Alexander City and Highway 280 in Sylacauga.
At Bone and Joint Specialists, there is no better feeling than to know that we have helped make someone's life better. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles for both adults and pediatric patients while specializing in arthritis and sports medicine. 256-329-9133 or visit us online at bonesandjoints.com. Alexander City, Wetumpka, Sylacauga, and Dadeville. Bone and Joint Specialists, getting you back into the game of life.
When a medical issue requires home health service, you or your loved one should expect the best.
Hello, this is Pam Tidwell with Lake Martin Home Health. We make everything we do all about you. With multiple offices in the area, we are always close to you, and our dedication is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call us at 256-397-1440 or ask your physician for a Lake Martin Home Health referral today. We make the difference because we care.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. I'm looking down. AP preseason poll started in 1950. Ohio State is the first team ever voted a unanimous preseason #1.
Wow.
Are you surprised? I'm shocked to hear that.
Well, usually there's somebody who gets kind of goofy, and I think somebody, if I'm not mistaken, somebody had LSU 2, and other people had them unranked. So that's what I'm saying. Usually that's why nobody's ever been unanimous. I would have thought somebody would have gotten a little funky and put TCU in that spot. I don't think anybody would have taken Alabama. I think it would have been a stretch to do Auburn too. So I'm a little shocked somebody just didn't try and go against the norm. Who was the guy out in Arizona that picked Alabama #1 that year in '92? Remember, and everybody called him crazy, and he ended up.
I can't remember. I don't.
Maybe something Simpson. Maybe I can't remember. But anyway, he was the only writer, and everybody, he's lauded as a genius then. So you would think that somebody would get off the reservation and go with the TCU or something.
Mississippi State, A&M, first 2 out in both polls. I'm nowhere near surprised to say that because I've said Mississippi State to have the top returning quarterback in the conference come back and still be rated as the 7th overall team in the SEC West is nuts. And A&M is also a team that just scares me as an Auburn fan to know that we got to play them. And I don't feel overly confident about Mississippi State. I'm sorry, Auburn fans. Don't call in and be upset with me, but I watched us play them last year, and if Dak doesn't throw the ball to us a few times, they run away with it then. So I don't know where – I'm scared of both of those teams.
I'm much higher on A&M than I am on Mississippi State. I mean, you put a blind resume of A&M and Auburn up and mix them up and then have an Auburn fan tell me why exactly they're – so, I mean, A&M's got a more heralded quarterback that has actually got more experience than Jeremy Johnson. They've got two of them. I mean, they got the true freshman coming in that he's not going to be the starter, but he looks awesome. They've got a better receiving core. They've got a really strong offensive line. The offensive lines are pretty close. Defensively, I mean, they both got questions, but I would say that Myles Garrett is as good a rush end as anybody in this conference. And then they both have kind of superstar defensive coordinators coming in, and A&M's got the easier schedule, and they get Auburn at home. So tell me why Auburn's ranked so high and Texas A&M isn't. And I have a theory on that. That it's because Alabama beat A&M 59-0, and people can't get that out of their heads.
I think it's got a lot to do with it. But let me bring up the best argument I've heard in Auburn's favor towards that is that, yes, Georgia kind of stopped Auburn offensively, but since Gus Malzahn's been there, the stretches he's been there, very few people have stopped him offensively, and they just feel like that if Auburn can just get somewhat better defensively, and they expect them to with Muschamp in, then that's what puts him over the edge. How do you combat that?
I can't tell you why that I think Auburn should be ranked higher, because I do agree with Auburn's ranking. Okay, I buy that. I just disagree with A&M's ranking. I think A&M should be in the top 15 at the bare minimum, because I do like their schedule more than Auburn's. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They get Auburn at home, and A&M did give up 59 to Alabama. Well, Auburn gave up 55. Now Auburn ended up scoring 44, but the last touchdown was basically meaningless right in the last few seconds. So my point being that also A&M was coming off kind of a hard stretch right there, and they were having to reshuffle their identity. I mean, that's when Kenny Trill was just hitting rock bottom, and it was a perfect storm for Texas A&M to get routed. And it wasn't necessarily because it was Alabama. A lot of teams could have routed A&M that weekend, but. Again, I think A&M's poised for a big year. I think that Kevin Sumlin knows this needs to be a big year for him to kind of back up the big salary he's getting, all the hype he's been getting. I think A&M's going to do some really big things.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Alabama comes in number 3. You like it there?
I do, because everywhere else on the football field, Alabama is rock solid to me except quarterback. And I think that they can get away with that. And I heard some stuff today. Look, for a long time it was Jake Coker's. It's going to be his job, no doubt about it. Then it was, Blake Barnett's really come in and tearing it up, and then he throws 3 picks in a scrimmage. Well, then they both go to a scrimmage. Neither one of them looks great, and Alec Morris looks the best. That was the latest. Well, today I've heard very positive rumblings about Cooper Bateman. So, yes. Now, the one guy that appears to be out of the mix, who seemed like a lock to be second in command should Jake Coker go down at the beginning of the summer, or at the beginning of fall camp, was David Cornwell. It appears he's out of the mix. Yeah, there have probably been some other things too, and I think now for him it's more mental than anything else. But I have heard very, very positive things about Cooper Bateman as of today. And Saturday, on Saturday Sports Countdown, when Scott Hardy mentioned Cooper Bateman, I was like, hey, no, that's not happening.
Crazy?
And I was just, they're trying so hard to find a guy who wants to take the reins. That's the whole thing. They all have talent, and they're all going to make mistakes. My theory on this is, okay, with Jake Coker, we saw him at the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and if you remember, I was on the sidelines that game. I kept telling you guys, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot. I can't believe Alabama and Auburn let him get out of the state. He goes to Florida State, doesn't work out. He's under the tutelage of Jimbo Fisher, whereas say what you want to about him as a person, and letting Dalvin Cook back on the team, we'll get into that later. But and the whole Jameis Winston thing. But he is a heck of an offensive mind. Then he comes to Alabama, and he's being taught by Lane Kiffin. Again, say what you want to about him as a person, that's fine. But no denying he's an offensive genius. And the light's still not coming on. So that's a problem for me, okay? Then you look at somebody like Alec Morris, he's just slow and steady, wins the race, but he's not going to probably win you a game. You look at somebody like Cooper Bateman, he was a wide receiver not too long ago. Blake Barnett appears to be the future, but he's just that, the future, because he's a true freshman and still needs to put some weight on. So I've been on Team Barnett or Team Morris, and the things I heard about Cooper Bateman today make me think he may not be out of it. I don't know what's going to happen, Randy. I'm tired of predicting it.
800-782-0108. 1 week at number 1 needed by Alabama this season to set the record for the most consecutive seasons, reaching the top spot in the AP poll. Up against competition with those 80 Miami teams, I'm sure, is who's going to come up. First team, Miami was the first team to be ranked number 1 during 7 consecutive seasons. So what a stretch.
It's pretty incredible. It's going to be very tough for Alabama to do because they play 9 of the top 27 teams in the country, and Ohio State only plays 1. Now, if Alabama were to run that gauntlet, it could play in their favor, but it's going to be very, very difficult. And granted, all those teams probably won't be ranked by the time Alabama gets to them because the SEC will cannibalize itself. But I'm going to tell you, I think if Alabama can just find Alabama is at quarterback, kind of like Auburn at defense. If they can just find somebody that won't get us beat, I feel pretty strong. The defensive front 7 for Alabama, I believe, is the best since Saban's been here. It's ridiculous. It's scary. That also may be making the quarterbacks look worse. I'm hoping.
Yeah, looking glass half full.
That's right.
That's a good way to do it. Can you remember during your lifetime, I'm not going to age you, but you're plus 40, Auburn and Alabama both being as good as they are right now at the same time? I remember Austin and I having this conversation. We were like, it's very hard for both teams to be good at the same time.
It is.
Auburn needs Alabama to be down, and Auburn have had several great years of recruiting, picking up some players that normally they don't get. And Alabama vice versa, normally they're going to be pretty good, but if Auburn had picked up several of those players in state, that it hurts them. Now it's crazy to look at it, and we're both getting plenty of recruits and great coaches on both sides, and both in the top 10 at AP Poll.
And it's funny because you go back to, say, something like 89, Alabama and Auburn. Alabama was undefeated coming into Jordan-Hare Stadium for the first time. Auburn wins that game, so they share the SEC title, I think, with Tennessee and maybe one other team, but Alabama gets the nod to go to the Sugar Bowl. And then, of course, in 94, both teams come in undefeated, but Auburn had just had the tie for Georgia. So there had been some sparse moments where they both had very good teams. But this is a good run, but it's funny. Because I listened to Sports Call today, and Brett and Andy were talking about what a run Auburn's been on since 04. Mm-hmm. But the highs have been incredible, but the lows have been abysmal. And you look at since A&M and Missouri joined the league, Auburn's SEC record leaves them something, I want to say it's either 8th or 9th in the conference. Ole Miss has a better record. Mississippi State has a better record. Alabama's only lost 3 games since they've come into the conference. Georgia's only lost 5 games in those 3 years. And Auburn has a losing record in SEC play. I think it's 11-13 since those 2 teams have come in. It's wild to me because you associate what Auburn's been doing with all this greatness.
You do.
Yet there's some statistics that say there have been some really horrible moments in there, but it's very Auburn. I mean, that's I say that all the time. Auburn is excitable. Auburn is going to be combustible. Auburn's not going to have – last year may be the year where Auburn had one of those years where it's kind of blasé. I mean,
your expectations were so high.
Well,
at least ours were.
Well, it felt like a Tuberville year last year.
Yeah.
You go 8-5, and it's not awful, but you end up losing to your last 4 Division I teams. And you lose to a Big Ten team, you get beat by Alabama, you give up 55 points, you get hammered by Georgia, and you lose at home to an A&M team when you had 2 chances to go down and win the game, and you fumbled 2 weird fumbles at the end.
We were ranked number 2 at that time?
You're ranked 3, because that game's been on the SEC Network on replay, and I can't stop watching it. I mean, every time I'm like, I don't need to watch this anymore, but it's just it's mesmerizing. The things that Auburn does you think about when Arkansas used to come in, remember, in the mid-2000s and beat Fred Talley, that whole crowd. Darren McFadden ran wild at 11 o'clock on CBS one time. It's interesting one way or the other. That's what I say about Alabama. I'm enjoying this Alabama time, but you go back and watch that A&M game and it'll be on replay or something. I can't watch it. This is beating 3-legged puppies to death. I don't enjoy this. I mean, it's hard to watch it.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Love to hear from you. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
For 115 years, Alliant Bank has built a strong foundation of outstanding customer service. Now, U.S. AmeriBank is building on that foundation with Craft Banking. U.S. AmeriBank's mission is to create handcrafted solutions that perfectly suit your needs and goals. With these financial strengths and convenient banking tools of U.S. AmeriBank, your hometown bank is now even stronger. Alliant is now U.S. AmeriBank, and we're built on values and forging into the future. Visit usameribank.com or any branch for Craft Banking solutions.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over the years, S&S Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Brown Nursing Home is welcoming the new year with an expansion of our rehab department to include an additional treatment room and addition of a full kitchen. We offer physical, occupational, and speech therapy. If a serious injury or illness has taken you away from home, let our therapy team assist you in returning home to independent living. We also offer long-term skilled nursing care. Come tour Brown Nursing Home at 2334 Washington Street in Alexander City.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. Whether you call in, click in, or walk in, I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
This segment of Sports Blitz is brought to you by Alex City Marine, the Lake Martin area's premier new and used boat and motor dealership. Find out more at alexcitymarine.com.
Welcome back into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. Got about an hour left here on the program. Got 2 great guests as we close out. Phil Steele will be on with Luke that we caught up with last week, and we'll hope to play that one for you. And Brian Matthews, who we caught up with on Sports Call Auburn. And by the way, out there, Sports Call Auburn on 93.9. Andy Graham, myself, Brett Pritchard, we host that 3 days a week. They do a great job of Tiger Communications hosting the other 2 days. Tune that in from 4 to 6 every afternoon. Luke, I want to bounce around a little bit. We've got about 25 more minutes. Phone lines are open. Call in if you got questions. Poor old, I don't know if it's poor old, but USC's coach.
Whew.
Have you seen the video?
I saw a little bit of it. I mean, it's cringe-inducing, really.
It is. And you know, the athletic director has to come up and jerk him off stage and really, gets him right there in front of everybody. Does
USC lead the country in apologies? I mean, I'll give them this, okay? You look at the way USC is handling this, and it's not good. I mean, here's the thing, Randy. Okay, we all say, well, we've all been there. Well, maybe we should stop being there. I mean, one of the reasons Steve Sarkisian gets paid millions and millions of dollars is to not do that type stuff. And then USC came out and today and they said, that's it, we're banning alcohol in the locker room. Is that something we have to announce? We have to, that's a thing?
I'm shocked with that.
That's a thing that people have to announce, that you can't have alcohol in the locker room? And apparently there was alcohol in the locker room. But again, Steve Sarkisian just needs to know better. And really, I saw something today about the players actually made him do up downs. And I thought that was kind of cool. I trying to be relatable to the players and accountable. At the same time, as a player, I'd have a hard time taking orders from that guy.
I would too. I don't think you can use the excuse that, it happens sometime. What does? It's about be like us going on air blitzed one night to call a ball game. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a much smaller scale, but we go on ball and do that. You just don't do that type of stuff. And if you're the head coach, you definitely, I don't care where you are, you got to expect there to be a mic out there. I'm going to go back to USC just a second. First thing that pops in my mind, and you tell me if you remember this moment, and it's throwing one of your coaches under the bus. But I remember watching on Saturday morning on game day Lane Kiffin. And it's early morning out there in California, and he's about to get fired, Luke. And he's on the side of the building, and they got a camera on him, and he is disheveled. He looked like he'd been up for about 2 or 3 weeks. He got that visor on, and you just watch him talk, and you're just sitting there cringe. And I'm thinking to myself, how does USC let this happen? How does their media relations or Pat Hayden or whoever is sitting there at the helm say, this is not a good thing for the university? That's my picture. To this day, that's my picture of Lane Kiffin in my mind.
And I don't blame you. I mean, it's kind of my picture of him. I have 2 pictures of him, that and every time Amari Cooper would go out, he'd do that.
Yeah.
But, that's the thing with USC and the West Coast in general. They're more laid back. I mean, Nick Saban, it ain't going to work with him at USC. I mean, I think it could work in theory, but I think he would rub a lot of those folks the wrong way because they're used to having a lot more freedom. Well, the problem with all that is there does have to be some personal responsibility, and Sarkisian obviously didn't have some. And he's in a very high-pressure situation with USC. There's no doubt everybody's ready for them to come back, yada, yada, yada. But I do think they lead the nation in apologies. And granted, they own it. They have not run from this story. Baylor has basically battened down the hatches, said no more media, no more anything. We're not talking about this anymore. And that's probably not the way to go with this because that makes people want to get in there more and find the story. It's best sometimes when you mess up, just own up to it and say, this is what we did, this is what happened. And I guess he had nowhere else to go because of the video.
Got about a minute left on this segment. Byron Cowart goes to Twitter, said it was a freshman mistake. Boy, I mean, it's
everything Gucci again?
Now, unfortunately, you're going to have to, Byron Cowart, when I'm thinking for him, it's going to be brought up every interview and every time you think about him at something like this. Luke, you just scratch your head.
Well, I'll tell you, I think it is a freshman mistake. I do think also he might have a little bit of a case because Auburn even uses this term, the de-recruitment, and which makes you think, well, you weren't really yourself when you were recruiting them. And we all know none of them anywhere are themselves when you're recruiting them. But to say that implies, okay, we're being totally different now. And so, I mean, it's an adjustment. I'm willing to forgive him and whatever. It's different. I'll tell you what. It's different for Byron Cowart to do it than it was for Duke Williams to do it several months ago, if you ask me. I mean, I think they're 2 totally different situations. Duke Williams had been there a while, and been there a whole season. And for Duke to do it is one thing, for Byron Cowart to do it. And then Byron Cowart came back and owned up to it again. I thought he took ownership.
Tell me this defensively, and then we'll go to break. Skill position guys, you can see them come in year one and make a big splash. Defensively, I'm thinking back over the last 15 or 20 years, so I'll date that. C.J. Mosley, how many others true freshmen have made a big impact on the defensive side of the ball that you can think of?
Gosh, I'd need to take a minute there. C.J. Mosley was okay. He wasn't. Now, Rolando McClain came in.
I'm giving him a big thumbs up.
But he didn't come in and just kill it. But Rolando McClain, I think Rolando McClain's the best linebacker Saban's had since he's been there.
Auburn or Alabama, though, anybody else that really pops in? It's got to be so hard physically to come in and make a big splash defense.
But let me tell you what's going to happen this year. 2 guys I can think of right off the bat, 3 guys for Alabama that I think will come in and you will notice them and they will play a lot. Darren Payne, who would probably be third on this list in terms of what kind of impact I think he'll have. Ronnie Harrison, he may end up starting at safety. He's been looking fabulous. But Minkah Fitzpatrick has been getting rave reviews. I'm talking, he has bypassed people that have been there for quite some time, and he's done it quickly. And I think he'll be a guy that'll be freshman All-American.
Still big expectations for Byron Cowart for you this year?
I think so. I thought that he would already be in the starter's role. Apparently he's not there yet, but I mean, I think he'll get there.
800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
I'm Sydney LaRue, a member of the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. I'm excited to partner with Nesquik to spread the word about the proper nutrition after a workout or game. Research suggests that low-fat chocolate milk, like Nesquik, contains the ideal mix of carbohydrates to protein that can help refuel and restore exhausted muscles. That's why I refuel my body with Nesquik after tough games and practices. Refuel with Nesquik.
Refuel with Nesquik, a proud supporter of Alabama high school athletics.
The countdown is over and boating season is here, so now is the time to really know what the locals know. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South are ready for prime time with an all-time high selection of 2015 Landau pontoon. Landau pontoons offer the industry's most stylish and comfortable rear split loungers and unsurpassed tri-tune performance. Alex City Marine and Alex City Marine South, the pros the locals know, and Alabama's #1 Landau pontoon dealer.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Now's the time to make a splash during the summer clearance event at Vice Motors. Get incredible summer savings on our entire inventory. Buy a new 2015 Chrysler 200 Limited for as low as $19,999. Save $4,800 on the purchase of a new 2015 Dodge Charger SXT. Or save over $6,000 on all Ram 1500 crew cab trucks. And nothing says summer fun like the all-new Jeep Renegade. Now in stock.
Guaranteed lowest price, or we'll pay you the difference in price twice.
ViceChryslerDodge.com.
Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center, offering durable medical equipment, including wheelchairs, oxygen, hospital beds, and more. 256-215-8654.
Luke, I can't make this up. Our producer walks out during the break and he says, "That's enough Bammer talk, Randy." And then he slings a graphic up there for the Bammer Blitz.
The Bammer, Bradbury Medical Center, Alabama Blitz.
Look, we have Bammered it up, so Mike, we appreciate it. Appreciate you. But here's what I want to talk about. Here's a shock, and you can spin it over to Alabama if you want. We can talk about Auburn basketball and Alabama basketball at this time of year, couldn't we? And actually have some interest out there, which is a shock.
Yeah, Auburn, of course, got a commitment out of Mustafa Heron, a 5-star a couple of Sundays ago, and everybody was in shock over that because he's got such a weird offer list. And then the next day, Alabama gets a commitment out of Terrence Ferguson. And then Terrence Ferguson, this past weekend, goes and wins the Under Armour 3-point shootout or whatever. I mean, he looked good doing it. Alabama could use this kid this year, right now, no doubt about it.
Number 17 overall commit is Mustafa Heron, top committed prospect Auburn's ever had. History of their program. It's
pretty amazing.
You see Auburn's elite camp is set for this Sunday. 5-star power forward Austin Wiley, the number 15 overall prospect, and number 5 power forward from Spain Park High School, and 5-star Obiagu, the number 19 prospect overall, the number 5 center. Those two players will be in. Austin Wiley's the big one, Luke, for Auburn. Aubrey Wiley's and Vicky Orr's son. That would be a huge get right there. And there's some premier top prospects, as long as you throw Petty in there also, here in the state the next couple of years.
Yeah, John Petty in 2017. Wiley, obviously I think he would probably, Jamal Johnson, Buck Johnson's son, he's playing I think on the same team as Wiley. I mean, they're just, state's loaded. There's a kid down at Auburn High School who's very stout. He's in the top 100. I think there are 5 kids that are in the top 100 for next year's class.
Sorry, it was last Sunday. I kind of spoke out of turn right there, but still, nonetheless, plenty to talk about with the basketball, and we'll continue with that. We apologize for the Bama Blitz, but Justin couldn't take any more.
He couldn't, but I'll tell you what, and Justin was with me last night for the Lake Martin Bama Club.
Yeah.
Well, had a great speaker in Travis Ryer. A great story about J.K. Scott, our punter, who, I think J.K. Scott's the best player on Alabama's team, which is bizarre because he's the punter, but he's the best at what he does. I think J.K. Scott's going to be the best punter Alabama's ever had, like groundbreaking. And he takes punting so seriously, comes to Alabama from Colorado, he shows up and he goes to Scott Cochran and he says, hey, where's the Pilates room? And Scott Cochran's laughing, and Pilates room, what are you talking about? After last season, guess what we got? A Pilates room. Because J.K. Scott's doing whatever J.K. Scott wants to do. And I was talking to somebody earlier about business philosophies on things, and if somebody's doing something well, the only way to mess it up is to try and get them to do it better. If they're doing it well, just let them do it.
Mess with it.
I want to put bubble wrap around whatever J.K. Scott's going to do because I don't want anybody touching his form or let him mess with it.
You've heard that with baseball swings is the sport that always comes to my mind. If you've got a great hitter and for whatever reason everything works out, just don't mess with it.
Golf swings.
The moment you start thinking about it, Tiger Woods
That's
right
right
now, changing your swing, you'll have issues. Let's go ahead and take another break. 800-782-0108. More Sportz Blitz Live right after this.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
Attention drivers, J&M Tank Lines is currently looking for local and over-the-road Class A CDL drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Our over-the-road drivers are home at least twice a week and can make $1,250 or more each week. You don't need a hazmat or tank endorsement. We also offer health insurance as low as $9 per week and many other great benefits. So come join the winning team. J&M Tank Lines. Call Jeff Sandlin today at 256-245-3933.
C&T Electric offers a wide range of installation and electrical repair services as well as 24-hour emergency services. Our knowledgeable experts only use quality parts and electrical fixtures that we feel confident in putting our brand name behind. You're the most important person in our business, and we strive to exceed your expectations with every interaction. At C&T Electric, we're dedicated to providing you with the service you deserve and the quality you expect.
Over the years, SNS Tires grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. SNS Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at SNS offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, SNS offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At SNS Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Hi.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
When insurance agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop many companies for a better deal. Free to do what's right for you.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics, so go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Luke, got one more segment here. We've got a couple of great guests that will close out the program this evening, so make sure to stay tuned in. Phil Steele, give a little update on that. Phil Steele talk about a wide variety of things, I'm guessing?
He does talk about a wide variety of things, and he talk about just a Bible of knowledge, college football knowledge. Unbelievable. The one thing that I want everybody to stick around for, and I'm so happy he agreed with me on this, because everybody's going to go nuts. Oh, we need an 8-team playoff. Oh, we need a 16-team playoff. Or what did Mike Leach say? Let's just go ahead and get 68 teams. Let's just put them all in a playoff. Let's not even have a regular season. Let's just have a playoff. See how that works. 4-team playoff. That's what I'm for. That's what Phil Steele is for. I feel good if I have him on my team. I think 4 teams is exactly right. And I heard somebody else on the radio the other day say, so y'all are just saying that if you have one loss, you could be out of it? Yeah, that's how college football works, and that's why the regular season is the best regular season in sports.
How into NFL preseason are you? First off, Jordy Nelson down.
I like it, but to see, okay, and I heard him talking about that on Sports Call too. Here's the thing, he wasn't touched. He just went down. He could have done that walking up the stairs. So, I mean, these things happen, and one of the reasons I think they're having more injuries is because they're not allowing them to do all the contact that they used to do to get them ready for it. I mean, that's what some of the players are coming out now and saying, okay, we've done this back off of training stuff, and it's making things worse. So maybe if we go back, we'll have some more bumps and bruises.
I would like to know if it's worse. I wish somebody
it feels
had
like
some
it's
stats.
worse.
Yeah, I think it's just so much more thrown in your face.
But it's football. I mean, people are gonna get hurt. It's the way it goes. You look at that Rivals 100. Nate Craig Myers has been out for a while, and I think he's still going to be out for a while.
There are a lot of guys.
Yeah, I think they're guys.
I think he missed a whole year last year.
They're guys that just get hurt. It's the way it is.
I think it's probably the one trait with a football player that is not talked about enough is how durable they are.
That's right.
The reason when you talk about Brett Favre, it's one of the main things that comes to mind. When you talk about Walter Payton, one of the main things that comes, these guys don't miss games for any reason whatsoever, and that's a special person.
It is. It's very difficult. I mean, being injury prone is a scary thing. Just ask Bo Jackson.
This past week, they come out with the 75-year All-American team, top team. Number of Alabama players on that list. One player from Auburn, third team. Bo Jackson, John Henna, I think, on the first team.
And Derek Thomas on the first team. And I think those are no-brainers.
How many times have you and I said, if anybody ever has the stat line Derek Thomas had his last year at Alabama, they'll win the Heisman.
They give him 2 Heismans. Now, let me ask this. All right, in the last 10, 15 years, you got anybody from Auburn you think may be on that list?
The best names that were brought up is Nick Fairley.
He won't make that list, though.
And Cam Newton.
Cam is funny. I think Cam would be the one, but I still think people will just hold it against him. I just don't think they'll get there.
Roger Staubach was a shock to me first team.
It's almost one of those things where I'm like, well, I got to take your word for it because I never saw him play.
And Frazier, yeah, but I watched him too many games other than that super game against Florida.
The game against, I'll tell you, a lot of people still have that run in their minds when he broke about 9 tackles to score a touchdown.
Andy Graham said it perfectly. He said, I think that's the last vision that they have in their mind about his playing time. And that Nebraska team was so much better than their competition during that stretch that they give him the nod.
Well, Florida was favored in that game.
But it was a massacre. We all remember that. Up against the close of Luke and I's part of the program tonight. Stay tuned in. Got a couple of guests coming up. For Luke Robinson, Justin Clayton producing, I'm Randy Lee saying thanks for tuning in to Sports Blitz.
Ever envisioned watching your favorite team score a touchdown from the comfort of your dream home? I'm Angela Van Houten with Century 21 Lake Area Realty. I want to help you find the home that's perfect for your lifestyle. Whether it's a lake home with a perfect deck or a home in the country with acres of land, you aren't buying just a home, you're buying a lifestyle. Call or text me today, 256-596-0566. Visit my website, avhLakeMartin.com. Angela Van Houten, helping families like yours make memories of a lifetime.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store. Say, where have you been? I've been looking for you.
Well, Box, I've been at the job site measuring for some new windows and doors.
Oh, you mean the website?
No, I mean the job site where the house is actually under construction.
Oh, we could never actually leave the store and go to a job site.
That makes you a little short on service, doesn't it?
Service, free delivery, and price match guarantee. 9 locations serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture in the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs, at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollyshomefurnishings.com.
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
Ready? And PhilSteele.com, one of the preeminent names when it comes to college football. Phil, how are you today?
Hey, real good. How about yourself today, Luke?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for being with us. I know that you've always got a really tight schedule, especially this time of year.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's radio season for me runs June through August. And right now we're cutting down the shows as I got to get ready for this college football season. But I've done a little bit over 400 radio shows and coaching interviews so far this year.
Well, I know you came out with your annual magazine very, very recently. Which was the hardest team of all of them to rank this season?
I'm gonna say a team. I'll stay in the SEC and pick one out, and I'm gonna go with South Carolina. You know, South Carolina is an intriguing team to me in the fact that last year they had 3 double-digit leads in the fourth quarter, which they actually blew. So they could have been a team that went 10-3 last year. That would have been their 4th consecutive double-digit win season. They've got 8 starters back and a much improved defense. There are question marks at quarterback, but they've got some talent back there. Or you could look at the fact that South Carolina needed to win a bowl game last year just to get to 7-6, and now they're playing a tough schedule, drawing teams like Georgia, Missouri, Texas A&M, Tennessee on the road, LSU at home. It could be an underdog in as many as 5 or 6 games this year. So to me, it was tough to peg South Carolina. Are they a 10-3 type of South Carolina or the 7-6?
Yeah, I can certainly see your argument there either way. It is going to be difficult to see where the Gamecocks fall, but I think the whole SEC in general has been pretty tough this year. And I'll tell you something else, Phil, that makes it all very difficult to predict right now is with this recent rash of football injuries and transfers and suspensions, how would that affect your rankings right now if you updated them?
Well, the good news is nothing has affected my rankings whatsoever. And I'll share a little story with you and go back to last year about how people sometimes react to injuries. Now, I'm going to say an injury generally happens to one out of the 105 players that are on a team's roster when it gets to August. So football, the injuries don't affect it as much. But I'll take a look at the Big Ten last year. The Big Ten media at the start of August voted on who was going to be the conference champion in the Big Ten. And they voted for Ohio State. Then Braxton Miller got injured, so they did a revote. And in the revote, Michigan State got picked to win the Big Ten. How'd that work out? Looks like the original vote was actually the better vote, and Ohio State not only won the Big Ten, they went on to win the national championship. So folks that reconsidered their vote basically because of an injury ended up being on the wrong side of it. So, as you know, sometimes I've been putting out the magazine, that's the 21st year. I put it out always towards the end of May. And a lot of folks say, oh, is that too early? I'm like, no, nothing really changes June, July, August. I'm pretty happy with the forecast. And this year, I'm very happy with all my forecasts.
All right, let's talk a little Alabama right now. With the injury to Jake Coker and the shaky play from that group overall, do you still feel confident in where you put Alabama?
Very much so. And, you know, I'm just going to go back and look at the history of Alabama football with first-year starting quarterbacks. Greg McElroy led them to a national title. How about the year A.J. McCarron led them to a national title? A.J. McCarron began the season alternating every quarter with Phillip Sims. First game, nobody took charge. Second game, so this is all spring, all August. First game, second game, nobody taking charge. Finally, in the third game, A.J. McCarron took control of that team, and Alabama won a national title. Look at last year. If you watch Blake Sims in the spring game last year, and I would have told you he was going to be the starting quarterback this year, you would have been cringing the entire offseason, 3 solid months of saying, oh, no, I can't believe Blake Sims is going to be our starting quarterback. How'd that work out? 64% completions, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. And they've got capable guys there. It's not like they're dealing with fifth-string walk-on guys that are 5'9", 150 pounds. David Cornwell is 6'5", 221. He was my number 6 rated quarterback out of high school. You've got a guy like the true freshman, Blake Barnett, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's my number 3 rated quarterback out of high school. And, of course, Jake Coker, who's got the most experience of the bunch. I think whoever wins that starting job at Alabama is going to give him quality quarterback play.
Okay, which would shock you more? Georgia's not winning the SEC East when all said and done, or Missouri winning it, which would be for the 3rd time in a row?
I'm going to say clearly, even though I picked Georgia to win the East, and I definitely think Georgia will win the East, as far as the shock level goes, I would be far less shocked if Georgia did not win the East because of the fact Georgia has underachieved the last couple of years. They've actually had 7 games that they have lost as a favorite in the last 2 seasons. So 7 times they've been favored and lost the game outright. Last year they were the best team in the East. They beat Missouri on the road 34-0, and yet they still couldn't find themselves in the SEC title game. But I'll tell you this, it wouldn't shock me either if Missouri was in the SEC title game because Missouri for the 3rd straight year draws the most favorable schedule out of any of the teams. Now, the defensive line is a major question mark, losing Brantley to injury, losing Marcus Loud after the spring. But Coach Cool usually does a pretty good job producing off defensive line. They're going to be an underdog at Georgia, at Arkansas, but they get Kentucky and Vanderbilt on the road. That means they get Tennessee, Mississippi State, Florida, South Carolina at home. They could very well be favored in as many as 9 or 10 games this year. So I think of those two scenarios, neither of the two would shock me.
You've taken some grief from Auburn fans, at least in this area, for having them ranked, I think, around 14. Is your concern for Auburn the fact that you don't have as much confidence in Jeremy Johnson, or is it something else?
Well, I tell you what, it's like Mississippi fans picking on me for picking them 7th in the West, and I'm like, well, who else am I going to put 7th?
Yeah.
When I look at the SEC West, I can make a great case for Alabama winning it, LSU winning it, or Auburn winning it. I'm a guy that relies on defense. And as much as I know Will Muschamp's the new defense coordinator there, he inherits 8 starters. They've got Carl Lawson back. They're going to have a much improved defense. Auburn's defense has given up over 410 yards per game the last 2 years. So even if they improve greatly this year, they're probably still only up there in the top 30, top 35 defenses. Meanwhile, LSU and Alabama have my number 1 and number 3 rated defenses. So I differ from a lot of the other magazines. I think the easiest way to grasp a team is to look at quarterback, running back, receivers. And if you do that, I think Auburn's got the best quarterback of the 3. But that's not always what ends up winning the division titles. Plus, when you look at the schedule Auburn has this year, right now in Las Vegas, they are actually an underdog in 3 games. They are an underdog at LSU, at Arkansas, and home to Alabama. So Las Vegas thinking the same way. They've got Auburn at a 9-3 season this year. I just went with the better defenses, but I can make a good case for any of the 3 teams.
All right, I saw something that I found very interesting in your All-American rankings, where you had Cody Kessler over Trayvon Boykin, Dak Prescott, and Connor Cook. That surprised me greatly. I want you to go in more detail about that.
Yeah, and I actually picked Cody Kessler to win the Heisman this year. So I like to go outside the box sometimes. I wasn't able to go outside the box with the number 1 team in the country this year. Everybody's picking Ohio State. When you look at Ohio State, they're the only team in the country that's going to be favored by double digits in every single game this year. In fact, they're the only team in the country favored in every single game this year, and they're favored by double digits. So I went outside the box at the quarterback position. It's done me well in the past. Nobody really even talked about Cody Kessler last year. There was a lot of other quarterbacks to talk about. But all Kessler did last season, he threw for nearly 4,000 yards. He had 70% of his passes. He had 39 touchdowns and just 5 interceptions on the year. Now, what does Cody Kessler have around him this year? Well, the first thing he has is a deeper team. USC last year for the bowl game suited up a grand total of 50 scholarship players for the bowl. Well, that was the last year of the sanctions. Now they're up over 75 scholarship players. They brought in some blue shirts or guys that count towards next year's signing day. So they're a much deeper roster. Then you look at the talent. They have my number 2 rated offensive line in the country, number 11 set of receivers, number 13 set of running backs, and Cody Kessler at the QB spot. He's going to put up the same type of stats he did last year. And I think USC gets themselves into the playoffs, and that's going to make him a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate.
And finally, Phil, I just want to get your thoughts on the current playoff system. Is this the way you like it, having 4 teams in this? Do you think there need to be more, or are you okay with it?
Back in 2000, I wrote my first article in the magazine about what I thought was the perfect playoff system. And the article said, let's keep it at 4 teams. Let's play 1 against 4 and 2 against 3. And for over a decade, I printed the same article every year with a few tweaks in it. And then they finally say, hey, here's our new playoff system. It's exactly what I've been calling for over a decade. Naturally, I love it. So I think with a 4-team playoff, you do 3 things. You accomplish 3 major things. First of all, you keep the regular season intact. Right now, if you go to an 8-team playoff, you may get games at the end of the season where you can afford to sit your players and rest them because you know you'll be getting in the playoffs. I don't want to see that. I want to see every game be important, much like it is for college football today. Secondly, I want to keep the bowls intact. The bowls are a great reward for all those teams out there. Yeah, there's a lot of bowl games, but everybody rejoices when they make a bowl, and I love watching bowl games. I think if you go to 16-team playoff, you're going to have to do away with the bowls just to get it all in. Third, I want want to get a true national champ every year. I don't like it when wild card teams win the Super Bowl. I don't like it when teams that finish in second or third in their division in the FCS go on and win a national title. I like to have the best teams competing for it, to have it not be a battle of attrition, but a battle of the best teams. And I think 14 playoff dots all those I's, crosses all those T's, and keeps those things intact.
Phil, you're a man after my own heart. That's the one thing that I'm scared of for college football more than anything is expanding this playoff field and making college football, which has the best regular season in sports far and away, only means something for a couple of weeks out of the year, just like college basketball. I'm so glad to hear I got somebody like you on my side, because I consider you the authority when it comes to things like this. And I thank you so much for being with us tonight, and we'll have you on again soon, okay? Hey, that sounds great, Luke. It was a lot of fun talking football with you tonight. We'll have you on again. Thanks a lot, Phil. Thanks, Luke. That was Phil Still of philstill.com. He does a fantastic job. Go check out his website. Go buy his football magazine. It's out right now, and it's always chock full of information. Far and away, the one magazine that you should have if you're getting ready for your football season or even in the middle of the football season. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sports Blitz.
– 2015 is a new year, and the rules for FHA loans have changed.
If you currently have an FHA loan, call Home Place Mortgage today.
Right now, we can refinance your current FHA mortgage without an appraisal.
Your interest rate will reduce, and so will your monthly mortgage insurance.
Call us today to start saving in 2015.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. At Walls, you'll find a dedicated staff offering top quality service from routine maintenance to a full engine overhaul and everything in between. Brian Walls and the folks at Walls Tire are local folks that you know, and they provide the best service always at a fair price. Find out what the rest of the Lake Martin area already knows. Walls Tire is the Lake Martin area's complete automotive solution. Just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Right now, Jacob is only thinking about this game. He's not thinking about the clavicle injury he sustained last football season, or the subsequent surgery and weeks of physical therapy. He's back in the game. With 3 orthopedic surgeons and a department dedicated to physical therapy, rehabilitation, and sports medicine, Russell Medical Center gets you back in the game for another winning Wildcat season. Orthopedic medicine at Russell Medical Center.
We are Steel, German-engineered chainsaws and landscape products.
The majority of which are made here in America by Americans.
And exported to over 90 countries around the world.
Find out why Steel is #1 in America at steelusa.com.
Find your Steel outdoor products and more at the new Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC. We are your dealer for Nature's Miracle state-of-the-art water filtration systems, providing sales and installation of systems for your whole house or under sink. Join our Diamond Club and enjoy many benefits and services while saving money and getting priority service scheduling. We offer financing, and our services include a 1-year satisfaction guarantee. All our technicians are trained, background tested, drug screened, and wear photo IDs to ensure your safety and peace of mind. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
back, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Andy Graham here with you for another hour and a half, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism Hotline. We'll pick up your phone calls in the next segment, but right now we're going to go to the AO Tourism Hotline and welcome in our good friend Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com. Brian, how's everything going today?
Oh, it's going great. It's always good to be in with you guys.
We appreciate you joining us. Auburn wrapped up fall camp really last week. The preparation now really focuses in on Louisville. The Tigers off yesterday, but what's this upcoming week going to be like for Auburn?
Yeah, I think they'll still do some things, physical, camp-type stuff, but I think a lot of the focus is now going to turn to Louisville, putting in the game plan, fine-tuning things, and also they want to make sure that they get to make the week from Saturday very healthy and very confident in their step.
Well, Brian, a lot of is always made, it seems like, as you look forward to that first game, and you talk about teams having, they basically all the preseason and in winter workouts to focus on a team. Do you think too much is made of that to have that much time? You think you can over-prepare for a team?
I do, and I think you have to be careful not to put in stuff too early or too much too soon, or the players kind of get bored with it and don't pay attention maybe as much as they should. So in the past, Gus has talked about that, and it sounds like they haven't done much Louisville at all so far. So it seems like Auburn's probably handling it the right way right now.
Still some position battles out there. Guard at left guard. Maybe some in the secondary as well. Running back, and they say nobody's really emerged yet, but they'll kind of run a committee. Do you think we'll actually see a depth chart before the first game?
I think there's a pretty good chance. Over 50-50, we may get one at his first press conference, I guess, the week from today. But, I think the reality is most of the position battles are already settled. Whether or not Gus or those guys want to, share that with us, we'll have to wait and see. But I'd be surprised if they don't know exactly who's going to start on that offensive line for Louisville now and all the other position battles settled. And there may be some stuff defensively because Will Muschamp likes to do the production after every practice where things would change a little bit. But I think that's a pretty good idea.
I think I read a piece that you had on AuburnSports.com and kind of wrapping up fall camp and what we learned. And one of the things that kind of intrigues me is the linebacker position. And, while it's not really set in stone that Casanova McKenzie and Chris Frost are going to be starting out there, you talk about those guys as being seniors and kind of everybody thinking, well, we're going to have a lot of leadership at that position. And maybe it's not a knock on them as much as it is some of the other guys stepping up.
Yeah, I think part of it has to do with Justin Garrett having a really good camp so far. And I think Will puts a lot on his inside linebackers. That's the position he coaches along with the defense. So he expects a lot from those guys, and he certainly challenged Casanova and Chris a lot, in practice and then out of practice. So, I think there's a chance that Garrett could start. We'll see. But then again, Casanova and Chris may end up being the guys just like everybody expected from the start. I just think it's been really competitive. Those guys, I should mention Trey Williams also. And I think regardless of who starts, they're going to get all four of those guys plenty of playing time. I think he feels really good about the depth of that position.
Well, I've heard this song quite a bit, and it seemed like for the last 3 years, Ellis Johnson used to always talk about Justin Garrett and what a great preseason he had and what a great spring he had. And, it just seems like – and it was a lot of times it was injuries that he could not overcome. But, why do you think this will be any different? Why do you think why should I be excited about Justin Garrett to think that he's going to come through and be the guy that we hope he is this year?
Well, I think the biggest change for Justin is getting diagnosed with his foot problem and getting special shoes to wear, and I think that's made a big difference with him. And he hasn't had those same foot problems that he has over the last 2 years so far. So if this continues to work, I think there's a lot of confidence that he can come out and have one of those senior season where he sort of puts everything together. But there's no way to really know that until he gets up and does it. But I think there's a lot more confidence surrounding him and his potential this year than there has been in quite a while.
We got Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com joining us here on Sports Call this afternoon. Louisville, when you look at them, The reports from their camp, they're a lot like Alabama in that we hear they've got 4 quarterbacks. Bobby Petrino says he's not even close to naming a starter. At least that was the word a week ago. Do you believe that, or you just think that's some gamesmanship?
I think that's definitely gamesmanship. I think Bobby Petrino knows exactly who's going to be a starter. We may see both guys play just because they're a little bit different. One's a guy that can run a little bit better than one I'm just more of a pocket guy. So he may mix it up some, but I think he knows who's going to be the starter. He's just going to wait until close to game time before he's official with it.
Well, the Louisville, you think back to Bobby Petrino when he was at Arkansas. I think he was 3-1 against Auburn when he was there, and they put up a ton of yards and scored a lot of points against Auburn during that time. Todd Grantham comes over. They have a really good defense last year, although they lost quite a few players to the NFL. What concerns you the most about Louisville?
Well, I would say definitely Bobby Petrino offensively. He's a master of the matchup. He will find a weakness on your defense and exploit it over and over again in different ways. So I think that's definitely something Auburn has to be worried about. You take Bobby Petrino's sort of aggressiveness and the way he wants to run things with a defensive coordinator, Will Muschamp, that likes to be aggressive too and likes to do a lot of press man and one-on-one. And, that's going to get some opportunities for that Louisville quarterback. Auburn can't get there and press him. So that'll be something to watch. On the other side of the ball, Devontae Fields is a freshman All-American 2 years ago at TCU, and I expect he's still a very, very good pass rusher, and that's going to be a tough first matchup for Sean Coleman, that offensive line, a really good test for them.
When you look at Auburn's matchups with them, are you more concerned about Auburn's offense or Auburn's defense?
Well, you got to say the defense. Even though Will Muschamp's a proven guy, very talented coordinator, we're still talking about a group that struggled at the end of last season tremendously. Gave us a lot of yards through the air, on the ground, and really five. So Will's done a great job of bringing those guys back and build up the confidence, but they still got to go out and field and do it.
Well, of course, there was a big dust-up. It seems like Twitter creates a lot more problems than it ever. I don't know if it ever solved any problems, to be honest with you, but Byron Cowart, made some tweets, and it got a lot of buzz. I guess, I don't know, I would call it poor journalism, but he comes out and says, it was just a freshman mistake. What do you make about it? What do you make of it?
Well, first of all, you can't draw too many conclusions from a tweet. You don't know all the circumstances, and you don't know exactly what he's talking about. So, my opinion is, and I certainly wouldn't write a story about this, but my opinion was that he had a rough day. The coaches were tough on him, like they're tough on every player, and he just sort of, got emotional, let some stuff out. But, that's what freshmen do a lot. But now that it's, we have social media, sometimes it gets out there and the public sort of consumes it, and people make a little bit bigger deal out of it than it needs to be.
Yeah, would you say that every single freshman, or at least 95% of them, certainly have feelings like that? It's just that nowadays they have the opportunity to voice that opinion on a national stage.
I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I absolutely. I think it's tough, and Rodney Garner is not going to cut him any slack. He's a tough man on the practice field, and when you come in with the hype that Byron's had, and he recruited the way he was, I don't care what kind of attitude he has or how good of a guy he is, it's still going to be a tough transition. And he's going through that now, and they think he's going to play. They think he's going to be a very good player. He's going to help Auburn this year, and another year under his belt, he might be really, really good. So they're excited about his future. He's just got to go through the growing pains.
Something that I guess we don't ever, and certainly as fans, we always think about, we see these guys in recruiting. We always hear all the accolades and everything about them. But one thing that we don't ever get to see, we just kind of hear about, and I'm not sure a lot of people even think about it much, but that what Auburn has referred to as de-recruiting. How much of that do you think that happens that we don't ever see, but it's a big thing?
Oh, it is a big thing. You'll hear coaches talk about that. Especially these days. These guys nowadays, they start recruiting the top guys when they're, sophomores in high school, even before that now. They're starting to get offers. And they're being told for 3 or 4 years now how great they are, and how wonderful everything's going to be in college, and what a great player you're going to be. And yeah, you got to recruit those guys when they get to campus, because it's never as easy as it sounds doing recruiting fish. That's for sure.
Well, finally today, Brian, and kind of an odd story, but it relevant to Auburn in that Auburn does play Idaho later on in the season, and the head coach at Idaho is Bobby Petrino's brother. And I don't know if you saw that, but he got into an altercation with a guy very similar to what would be your position, your job. I was wondering if you have ever had a coach or somebody, confront you about something that you've written, and or what would you think about a coach acting that way in that kind of situation?
Well, I don't think you can cover a team properly for the 15 years I have and not make a coach mad or get cussed out by a coach. And that's just part of the job. What I don't think you need to do is go make that public and make a big deal about it. I think you need to examine, what happened, and if there's fault on your side, you need to, fess up and work it out with the coach, whatever he's wrong about, or if not, if you think you're in the right, you stand up for yourself. But as long as there's not some sort of real physical confrontation or some sort of, serious threat, I just think that stuff needs to stay behind the scenes.
I think there's a decent chance there's some anger issues in the Petrino family.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. They need to chill out and not worry about what people write and coach football, and do their job of building up young men and being good examples on and off the field. But some coaches are more worried about what people are saying or writing about them than others, and apparently Petrino is one of those guys.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you joining us today. Just kind of give us a preview of what we can expect from AuburnSports.com this week.
Well, we're going to have practice coverage after tonight. We'll talk to Coach Gus, and we'll talk to some players too. And then, this week we'll just continue to cover practice. And, of course, we've really already talked about 10 or more, I think, of the visitors that came this weekend, the basketball visitors. So there's a ton of that coverage on our site, and we'll continue to follow that if there's any more news to come out of that. But a lot going on as we sort of get geared up for the first game, and we'll be out on the road covering some more high school games this Friday night.
Absolutely. Look forward to that, Brian. We appreciate it as always. You be careful this week.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. More Sports Call is on the way.
Harbor Point Ship Store has everything to make your day on the lake more enjoyable. Come on out to the biggest marina on the water, stocked with name brands like O'Brien Wakeboards, Airhead Tubes, and Costa Del Mar sunglasses. Stop by for lunch. They have pizza, hot dogs, burgers, and more. Get your gas, groceries, snacks, ice, and everything you need for a fun day on the lake. Are you in the market for a new or pre-owned boat? Harbor Point has the best selection around of everyone's favorite Crest pontoons and Four Winds boats. Harbor Point also has a great selection of pre-owned boats. Come on out and take a look at Harbor Point, Marina Point Road in Dadeville. Get to the point.
Over the years, S&S Tire's grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Ellick City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Big trucks control our highways with little to no regard for the rest of us.
The U.S. Department of Transportation estimates that over 500,000 wrecks occur each year involving big trucks. If you or a loved one have been hit and injured by a big truck, then don't wait any longer. Call me today. I'll stand up to these big truck companies and I will fight for you.
What are you waiting for? Call Kenneth Ingram Jr. now.
No pest is too big or too small for Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Protect your home or business today from insects, termites, mosquitoes, and more. Lex uses only the latest state-of-the-art technology and equipment to solve your pest problem, including the environmentally friendly Centricon termite baiting system. Lex has been servicing the Lake Martin area for over 35 years, and he has a full staff on hand. Call Lex today, even if it's just a question. 256-234-6162. Lex Wedgeworth Pest Control. Smart solutions to your pest problems.
What value would you gain working with Lee Marketing Group? With 4 divisions under one umbrella, Sign Source, Lee Apparel, R&B Media, and LMG Baker Advertising Agency, Lee Marketing Group offers a comprehensive approach. From logo design and branding to ad placement and everything in between, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think LMG. Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution.
About Infinity Crate, and they basically cater boxes to you. You pick a theme, or you tell them things you like, and then they'll make a box for you. So many people recommended this to me. It's from the UK. So many people recommended it to me, and I'm like, that sounds great. I would love a box to cater towards me. So I tried to order from them, had numerous problems with their website, so many glitches in their website, so many problems that I had, and then tried to contact customer service and got ignored. Repeatedly, constantly got ignored, and still to this day I haven't gotten questions answered and problems solved. And not ignored for like, emails ignored for like an hour or two, or like a day or two. I'm talking weeks of no response, and driving me absolutely batshit. It took me like 4 months to get my first crate, just to get it. Constantly being charged for things I didn't pay for, all these problems that they just didn't deal with. So again, they didn't respond to me, so I made a video about it, and then they came and found me on YouTube. Infinity Crate came and subscribed to me, left me a little comment defending their product, so I responded to them, like, respectfully, like, no hate or anything, no disrespect, and I told them, like, okay, like, I see what you're saying there, but here's what actually happened, and, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, any thoughts on what actually happened? No response. Again, their favorite thing to do is to not respond. So I made my second video when I got my second crate, talking about the first crate and how they didn't respond to my reply. So I said, again, no reply, but I'm sure they'll reply to me now that I've put out a no